Welcome to the Dairy Raid. Presented with over 20 years of coaching experience, the Dairy Raid provides commentary and analysis of the schemes, the players, and the coaches who create Wisconsin football's new identity. Now here's your
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Dairy Raid and the third quarter of Wisconsin versus Oregon. This is the Badgers from the defensive point of view. We're also taking a look at the Oregon offense. So, here we go. First and 10, the 25-yard line. Oregon comes out. Starts out an empty. They're going to motion out of this. This is just a trips adjust, or excuse me, a coverage indicator for them. Badgers come out. Initially break the huddle in the 2-4 alignment, and they're going to reduce down to a tight front and bringing one of those outside backers down on the line. I believe that is Pius. Going to motion across, bring the back in the backfield, so just 2x2. They're going to flex him out, and when he initially had his motion here, and we saw no real movement, that's a coverage indicator, means the Badgers most likely are in a form of zone, and that is exactly what we get. It looks like the Badgers here are in a variation of cover 6, which is quarter, half. So in this case, we have Austin Brown as the flat defender. Hunter Wohler is rolling down into, he's going to be probably more of a hook to curl player, but when he sees bubble, he's going to attack it. And we got Rico over the top, and then we're buzzing over here on the backside to go quarter. But again, they react pretty quickly. Zachman is rolling over the top in pursuit. And we just have here a case that Hunter Wohler is just too slow getting downhill. Austin Brown sets the edge. He does what he's supposed to on this in terms of the run fit. Here you just need to see Hunter Wohler getting downfield a lot faster. All right. And so right there, quick first down. So again, first and 10. 3x1 with a nub look. I believe they're in there. Well, they're in 11 personnel here. Bubble screen. And this is play action bubble screen. I don't think this was any kind of RPO. Badgers back in the 2-4 look. Okay, squeezing down pretty good. Now this is better by Hunter Wohler to get out there, get downfield faster, and squeeze. Nice track also here by Jake Chaney. Recognizes it and runs. This was one of his issues earlier in the season. It would take him forever to recognize, and then he would take a bad track. Here he takes a pretty good track and gets there. Let's just take a look at the box real quick and watch how the front line takes off on this. Okay, I want to see Barton get his hands up. I don't know in particular why it's almost like he's just trying to cut block. I don't think he is. He just doesn't get his hands up. Okay, so Allegro is tracking across just in case they run this little power look. I think it's an interesting play action off of this that actually brings Allegro downhill a little bit more. But good track by the defense. We get it out there. All right, so 2nd and 6. Again, 2-4 look. Gonna motion across. Gonna play action. Gonna trying to set up the wheel on the backside, and Hunter Wohler does a really good job staying home. He's man on the back. And he stays on pretty good. Nice little pressure here also by Jake Chaney, who is on a blitz. and he does a pretty good job to get out there. What he's looking at here, go to the end zone angle. I believe what he's looking at here, he's looking at the only person who could protect for him in this alignment, which would be the running back. So when the running back releases out, that's his signal to go. So that's why it may look a little late, but it's by design. Gets downhill, forces pressure. Wooler does a pretty good job picking up the running back. And we move on to 3rd and 6. Okay, empty look. Motioning in. And they're just going to run shallow cross across the field. Going to take a shot. Gabriel underthrows it. And how do we get that open at the top of the field? So we get a situation here where the tight end just splits down the middle, and we end up getting a situation where we got that Austin Brown. Yeah, it looks like he gets caught a little flat-footed. And I think one of these two linebackers should have been sagging a little more. But Austin Brown gets switched around, looking too much on the outside receiver, and we catch a break that Gabriel underthrows it because he's not going to get help from the backside of the field. Now, what I would have liked to have seen better on this here, we go to the end zone look for this, is Chaney needs to redirect this tight end. So not just put a hand on him. I mean, pop him. He has help underneath for the crosser. So he passes off that seam a little bit too early. I would have widened on him and forced him to take the hard road over the top. But we get lucky on the overthrow. So 4th and 6, and Oregon ends up punting. So, and after that series, Badgers go down the field and score. So it's now 1st and 10. Badgers have the lead. Okay, Oregon in 12 personnel. Split flow. Outside zone read. And then we got post-snap RPO here where we're going to run a crosser to clear. We're going to run a wheel from the number 2 or bubble fade, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the receiver coming out of the backfield off the split flow. Right idea, but really good job here by Allegro to close the distance. This kid is going to be a stud. He just has so much athleticism. Also, pretty good angle by Jake Chaney. Gets his run fit on the outside zone. Think he would have been there. And then tracks out and closes down the cutback lane. Nice rep from the Badgers front on this rep. Let's get an end zone look of it. No, that's the wrong one. Come on. Oh, there we go. All right, so Gabriel is... No, that's the wrong one. Come on. Give me... Come on. Thank you. All right, so let's take a look at the end zone angle of this. Motion to split flow. Okay. Aaron Witt is chasing. Probably shouldn't be. He does have help on a scrape exchange, so if Gabriel does keep it. But really good job by the rest of the linebackers to track that down. So now we get 2nd and 5. 24-yard line. Come on. All right, Oregon in a pistol look this time. 3-by-1, 12 personnel. And they just do a really good job here running the stretch. I mean, they're coming downhill. This isn't so much outside zone to begin with. They do a really good job. So they force the issue upfield, and then they turn. So in that more mid-zone kind of range. Let's look at the box. Okay, Hills has got to do a little bit better job of keeping both his hands in, and again, fighting against the turn. He's got to steering wheel him the opposite direction that he feels that turn coming, so he isn't going to get walled off. Same thing with Daryl Peterson here. They combo up pretty easily on him. Jake Chaney as well. Yeah, it's not a really good rep by anybody here. Allegro, maybe he hits it in there, but it's unfortunately the bad fits for the people on the front side that allow for them to spill this. All right, so 1st and 10 after the stretch. 32-yard line. Oregon again in pistol. 12 personnel. Gonna play action now. Looking to take a shot. And we get lucky. We get pressure here. They're looking. I think they're trying to spike. No, excuse me. They want to come back. So play action. And we're going to break back out with number 1. I think that's where his eyes are initially going to go. And then to the outside on the comeback. But we finally get some good pressure here. And this is just Elijah Hills winning a battle, which is something we haven't seen much this year. And kind of the hallmark of why this defense struggles is defensive line play. But with Elijah Hills emerging and really showing some athleticism here, and that gets Gabriel off his track, so he has to just try to dump it out. He's lucky this ball isn't intercepted. And pretty good job getting pressured. Badgers defense rotating across, running with. Austin Brown's passing one off, and then he's looking to get downhill on the flat. So he's carrying one until he breaks. Wooler's looking to, kind of rob a little bit. I think he gets kind of lost in coverage here off the play action. Yes, I mean, if this pressure doesn't get there, there's a good chance that he probably nails this comeback here at the bottom of the screen, because again, Rico gets turned pretty badly. Takes him forever to cover, but that's how a good pass rush can help you. So 2nd and 10. 3-by-1 look for Oregon. Split flow. And this is this is play action. So split flow, looking flat. And then to 3, the tight end on the 10 out. Or this is probably more like a 15 out. Kind of lazy in his cut. And we're going to see it better. And in fact, we'll just go straight to it. Where Forkreen actually does a really good job recovering here. He's walling him off. You're kind of expecting him to try to go over the top. Kind of walling off a corner. But he breaks underneath, and that's a pretty good feat here to flip the hips and then get back across the face of that out. And not really giving Gabriel anywhere to go. Not giving him anywhere to go at all. And so we end up stopping him there. Forcing a 3rd and 7. Exit motion. And just a little read route by 3. And he's reading right here. And when Allegro goes here, he's just going to reoccupy the space created by him. I think they get a little lucky here. Is they're showing Hunter. Allegro goes. Hunter's supposed to rob that, but he ends up kind of pathing through the umpire and ends up going around him. I think if he had a little bit more of a straight shot, he kind of finds that a little bit quicker. Not saying he's going to actually stop this pass, but maybe he's in position to make the tackle, and we end up tackling him short. But Three using the big body to wall off the defenders and turn upfield. So, 1st and 10. 2x2 for Oregon. Okay. Just running big boy football inside zone. Let's take a look at the box. Hills here needs to get better separation, get his hands up. He ends up getting a situation where he gets his face buried in his guard, so he can't see the ball. Okay. Barton gets double teamed, driven back, and Jake Chaney here, as much as I've been praising him early in this video, kind of reverts to some of his old bad habits of just staring at the double team, waiting for something to happen, and doesn't do anything. And by the time he reacts, it's way too late. Allegro gets caught up in the double team. They combo up 3 and 76 from Pius to Allegro. Jay Chaney got to fit this. Okay, is he going to fit here? Is he going to fit here? To me, it doesn't matter. Just fit it. Instead of just getting happy feet and dancing. Find the ball. Just go. I think he's waiting to see what the running back's going to do at night. So it's something that I've really noticed with this, stand-up kind of positioning for running backs. It's quite intriguing. If you watch Genty from Boise State, he stands like this and just looks like a menace. But it really causes linebackers to react weird. And Chaney definitely gets caught up with that. So, 1st and 10, Oregon. Hey, empty, gonna motion. Again, just a coverage indicator. Okay, a little mid-zone. Don't necessarily want to call it outside zone because they're not really working to a shoulder very much. They're just kind of stepping out with single blocks. Okay, they are running RPO off of this, where they're running wheel, a clearing dig, and then the little arrow underneath. They're going to come back to that later. But see the linebacker, Chaney dropping out. That takes away that. Okay, let's look at the box. And again, Neal too high. And he's just sitting right down the middle. Getting his gap, extend the hands. Leg roll, getting a little happy feet. And what he ends up doing is overrunning this instead of just tracking that inside hip. I mean, he's not fitting quick enough here. Then he needs to pass off to the inside shoulder, or if we want to call it his right shoulder here, and track that shoulder. So as soon as he outruns it, that allows the cutback because he has no help. So 2nd and 5. All right, again, same motion. And here we catch a little bit of a break because when he motions in, let's go to the box because this is a run play. When he motions in, I think he gets too close to the quarterback. And so with this kind of play here, what Oregon is doing is they're running power GT going back this way. But that's for the QB. The QB's eyes are out here. So they're looking at the outside linebacker. And if he were to get contained, quarterback would keep it and come back with the power. ends up happening is the running back gets through this way too quickly. In fact, I don't think he even knows he's supposed to be a part of this. And, Gabriel wants to read this, but, Pius is coming, or sorry, Lowry's coming screaming off the edge. He wants to give it. And that just blows this up. And a pretty good job of spilling once we get there. And nice tracking from the backside. So, catch a little bit of a break. So, 3rd and 5. We're coming up to the end of the third quarter here. We are going to, spoiler alert, Oregon's going to get the first down. We're going to continue this drive all the way to the end of the drive, which takes us into the fourth quarter. Okay. This is pretty good coverage here. They want to run that little spot, dig over the top, and pressure at the right time. Nice little spin move there from Kurt Neal. Just creates enough pressure that it gets Gabriel off his rhythm and allows the Badgers to recover in terms of coverage. And if we can get pressure like this with 4, that's going to help us. Easily. Drop 7 in coverage. So, they end up losing 2 yards. It's 4th and 9. And empty, motion in. Okay, Badgers communicating, changing the alignment. Oregon's getting a late play change here. Yeah, man. Okay, so they rotate out of this. I like this, and I think this is what ends up, there's, again, pressure, movement. I don't like Gabe. I think for Gabriel to set his feet like that, he wants to throw the ball now. And I think he sets it too early, which allows the pressure, and it's not insane pressure, but because he's standing still, just the natural movement of the D-line is able to pull this out. And then what we end up getting is because Cheeks drops out, he can't hit the second window, so he needs to roll out. But when you have an elite quarterback, he can fit it in that super tight window on the crosser, and Oregon ends up getting the first down. That's a great throw. Nice concentration by the tight end. So the drive continues. So we're here at the top of the fourth quarter. Again, we're going to keep going until we get to the end of this series. And so here Oregon comes back with a little wheel arrow on the RPO. This was set up by this action they did earlier where they handed it off. And what gets this is just a subtle little rub we get at the top of the screen with the number 2 receiver running the wheel. He ends up getting in the way of Rico, and that essentially creates a pick without having to do much. And, maybe Austin Brown should be funneling to inside. If he funnels to inside, Rico is able to get clear better. But I think he's just setting up. He knows the wheel is coming, so he doesn't want to get burned on the wheel. And just simple but well-executed play design and chunk play for Oregon. So 1st and 10, 14-yard line. Oregon going to shift to a 3-by-1, 12 personnel. Just run and stretch. Hunter Wohler missing a tackle, something we don't normally see. And if we look at the box angle here, so Oregon's running outside zone, the run stretch. D-line, front level guys, we're fitting the shoulder we have. Linebackers will be flowing across. Okay, so what I would be expecting here, I'm just looking at knowing the blocking scheme we're getting. We're going to get contain here. We're going to get gap here, depending. He's playing stack, so he's going to slant the gap on the snap. We're getting a fit here. We're getting a fit here. Linebackers, how we have this set up. For me, Hunter is playing off of Lowry here. So if Lowry gets caught inside, Hunter's going to work outside. If Lowry gets to contain, Hunter's going to fit right here, which he ends up doing. Chaney should be coming downhill off of here. We're getting outside zone, so he should be looking to fit into the flow, whether it be inside here or outside, and then Allegro's coming over the top. He's going to be your cutback fill player. And so let's see how this develops. And I think where we kind of get killed is Chaney sees it, runs downhill, and then he slows down and breaks down for really no reason. Like, honestly, because he knows, or he should trust, that Allegro is going to fit here. Now, he ends up getting scooped by the center. So, in hindsight, it wouldn't have been there. But Chaney, just bang it right there. And for some reason, he powers down, and he allows himself to get picked up in the combo block. Now, this would all have been fine if Hunter Wohler didn't miss a tackle. Again, he tracks this too wide. For me, outside zone, when I get stretch and I get this guy out here, my safety, nickelback, dollar, whatever you want to call this type of guy, I want him to get to the line of scrimmage. The path of least resistance to the line of scrimmage. And he just keeps tracking wider and wider and wider, and so he ends up having to get inside to come back. Track the shoulder we got. I mean, the running back is not pointing to the sideline, so you don't need to get that wide. So not a great rep here by the two vets here on the front side of this play. It also doesn't help that Allegro gets scooped by the center. So 2nd and 7 on the 11-yard line. 3-by-1 for Oregon. Okay, so they run a little G power, and I think maybe it's supposed to be GT or a GH lead, but the tight end, the H back here, I think he thinks it's going to be split flow or play action because he doesn't realize the ball is behind him. And this ends up leading to an Oregon touchdown. And again, for me, why this led to a touchdown is the play of our nickel safety, the overflow guy here. So, when the blocks take off, okay, down block by the tackle. My run read here for Austin Brown is the tackle. So when I get a down block, I want to get to replace him or replace the gap. So Lowry's going to get there. Austin Brown should be right here. He becomes the new force player. And that is going to allow everybody here to flow over the top and stretch this, spill it to the sideline, or force him to cut back. And what ends up happening is obviously the opposite of that. I think Lowry does a pretty good job of spilling this. He dips his shoulder, contains, spills it, but we have no spill player. Austin Brown is just sitting flat-footed, and now he has to run over the top, run around the slot receiver, and he's in a terrible angle. When he should have come downhill inside of the slot receiver and continue to spill this to the sideline or turn it back where it came from. And what it just ends up being is athletes beating athletes, and we just outrun it to the end zone. So we spill it. We do a good job spilling it, but we lose the fill, and it ends in an error here, and it ends in Oregon tying the game. Obviously, they're gonna kick the extra point here at the end. So throughout this game, the Badgers defense has been doing a really good job of bending, not breaking. And in this last series here, you really saw that a couple mistakes at the wrong time in some pretty basic stuff by veteran players ends up killing the drive and leading to an Oregon touchdown and a tie game going into the fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the fourth quarter coming out here in the next video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.